Welcome back. Today we are going to be covering the data modeling module, and we're going to begin with the first unit, understand custom and standard objects. So to begin, I suppose I should ask you, what is an object? And it's okay if you can't answer that question because I'm about to tell you right now. An object is essentially a container for your information. Um, so let's dive into Salesforce. So I can actually give you a first-hand look at what an object is. So we're going to go down, click launch, so we can launch our playground, and let's go to, all of these are objects: Property Explorer, Property Finder, Contacts, Properties, Brokers. But let's go to the Contacts object up here. So we're going to click Contacts, and I'm going to click this arrow down here to list all of the um, contacts that we have available. And let's just choose a random contact. So let's go to Rose Gonzalez. This is a record, by the way. So we're going to click the record, and we are still in the contacts object, the contact object. And if we click details, we're going to see fields. So these are fields: contact owner, phone, home phone, name, account name, mobile, other phone. All of these are fields. Email, birth date, these are all fields. Okay? And you might be asking, what is a field? Fields are just where you store data values. Okay? It's just where you store data values. And so I want to give you an example of my own into a different object, an object that's not in Salesforce, something completely fictitious, but let's think of let's think of a hospital, okay? So visualize a hospital, and in a hospital you need patients, right? You need hospital patients. Let's pretend that hospital patients is the object, okay? So instead of contact being the object, pretend this says hospital patients up here, okay? Now, would you be able to tell me some of the fields that you would see for a hospital patient? Just think of some. I would say name, obviously, so you would have the name of the patient here. Um, Maybe you would have their age, their date of birth would be another field. Blood type would be another field. Email would be another field. Phone number would be another field. Emergency contact could be another field, and so forth. And so those are all just fields. Okay, so let's go back to the module, and let's actually, these are fields. Remember, this is the content. Sorry, this is the object. So over here, we're looking at the property object. Okay, this is the specific record, 298 Castle Street, and these are the fields: property name, price, square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms, and price per square foot. Okay, so um, these are all fields. Okay, now in Salesforce, there are really two types of objects you really need to know about, and they are standard objects, which that come included with Salesforce, and there are custom objects. And custom objects are objects that you create to store information that's specific to your company or industry. Okay, so these do not come with Salesforce. You get to define what the custom object. Okay, and so let's actually go back into Salesforce, and we're actually going to look at where you can find standard and custom objects, and where you can edit and manage them. So if we go to the top right, we click on the gear icon up here. This is going to take us to setup, and we can click right over here to go to the object manager. And here you'll see um, all of the standard and custom objects. Now, if you look over here, you'll see the type, and you'll know whether or not it comes with Salesforce or not. So we know that account is a standard object, a very common standard object. You'll see that activity is a standard object, asset is a standard object. Now, if you come down here, you'll see that the broker object is not a standard object. It's a custom object. So that means I built it. I built it for a specific need because Salesforce didn't give it to me. Okay. So those are some of the standard custom objects. Here we have another custom object. The property object is custom. And here's a little tip. If you see underscore underscore C, that means custom object. Just think of custom object. Okay. We'll scroll up to the other custom object, but you'll also see this underscore underscore C. This is also a custom object. Okay. So let's go back, and I actually took some notes. I might have closed it. Okay, so I was looking for my notes, and I actually found it over here. So here's some notes that I think will be helpful for you guys. Standard objects are included by default in every single Salesforce org. We already covered that. Some of the standard objects, some of the most common standard objects, I should say, are accounts, contacts, and opportunities and cases. Um, Standard objects contain standard fields. Custom fields can be added, and we're actually going to go into that in a bit. We're going to create some custom fields rather, and we'll actually see some of the standard fields as well. Um, Bear in mind that standard objects can be hidden from users and renamed, but you cannot delete a standard object. So if we go back, you'll see a delete option for this custom object here. But if we look at a standard object, let's look at contact. You can't delete a contact. You can't delete this object here because it's a standard object. Um, However, you can change the name of a standard object. So let's scroll down just a bit. Here's an object that I really like, opportunities. Where is it? Right there. So you could rename opportunity to deals. So I could rename this object here, but I can't delete that object because it's a standard object. And let's go down to custom objects. Custom objects are created to meet a specific use case. Yes, we know that. So here's another example of a custom object. If the hospital one didn't make sense, you could have a school. Within the school, you obviously need teachers. Um, Teachers can be an object, and then you can have students, which can be another object. Now we could even make this bigger. We could do school district because school districts have usually multiple schools, and then you can have the teachers from the school district, and you can have the students from the entire school district. So I think that's another good example of several custom objects. And then all custom objects contain standard fields, and custom fields can be added. So let's actually look at what a standard field is, because I've mentioned a standard field multiple times, but we actually haven't visualized what that looks like. So we'll go to the app launcher, we'll click on sales, and we'll actually go back to contacts. And we'll click the Rosa Gonzalez contact again. We'll go to details, and let's look at some of the standard fields. These are the standard fields created by and last modified by. These are some standard fields. These are automatically included by Salesforce. You can't delete these standard fields, um, and you can't edit them either. So these are just standard fields automatically included with every single record. I believe you can hide them. I believe you can hide them if I remember correctly. But yeah, those are standard fields, and then again, these are custom fields. So that's that. And so this is going to be sort of a long video, so I'm going to cut this off right here. I am going to have a part two, and we're going to do the challenge for this specific unit. So thank you for joining me, and if you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing, smash that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.